Welcome to episode 368 of the show. Before we begin, apologies for the squeaking outside the window. That's just bats. It's that time of year. They're, circling around doing their thing. In the parts of Abuja that I live in Apo, certain times in the year, the bats they show up, they swarm, they do their thing. And I think after the rainy season, they leave. And so that's one of the more interesting things about living in certain parts of Abuja, because that's also some kind of some kind of animal behavior that I was exposed to back when I lived in Ile-Ife, when I was a student at Obafemi Awolowo University. The same thing, bats swarming around the rainy season and all of that. So, if you don't live in Abuja and you happen to pass through, that is part of some of the, local ecology. Yeah, I guess you could say so. So that's some of the local ecology that you can look towards. So now, on with the show. At the last recording, I think... Sorry, hold on one moment. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Oh, yeah, so at the last recording, I think I mentioned some stuff about stuff that Avon... the Avon Tech Hub is doing in Abuja, some of the masterclasses that they're doing around digital marketing and a couple of other stuff. So I gave reasons why I think it's a good endeavor and why you guys should pay attention to that. But it just occurred to me that usually whenever I talk about something here on the podcast, I like to show how it relates to sales, what the relationship is, or whether sales theory can help inform other aspects of business development that we talk about over here. And I failed to do that at the last recording. And it's a good thing I didn't, because then it would have gone over the 10-15 minutes, which I like to keep the podcast recordings under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that in future episodes. And today is one of such future episodes. And we're going to be talking about the relationship between digital marketing and sales. There are some people who believe that digital marketing is the end-all and the be-all. So you, set up your marketing campaign, you do your creative stuff on Canva and what else, brainstorming sessions and everything. And that is the ultimate way to grow your business, digital marketing. So, of course, by the very fact that I started this podcast, I guess you can see that I don't think digital marketing is the end-all and the be-all. But beyond those issues, is there a relationship between these two arts and disciplines, digital marketing and sales, and how do they inform one another? So since I'm not a digital marketing specialist, I'm not going to talk about how digital marketing affects sales or how it can inform sales, but I'm going to talk about how sales can inform digital marketing. So the first point is that sales can help inform your digital marketing because it helps you get clear on your ICP. Now, before you come up with a marketing campaign, before you come up with your advertising copy or your content piece for lead generation or whatever it is, whatever marketing thing you want to do to bring in customers, you need to be sure about who your ICP is. And the ICP is your ideal customer profile. Some people say ideal client profile. Some people say target market base, target customer base. You get the general idea. Before you start your marketing activities, you want to figure out who is it that I'm chasing in the first place. Because if you have a clear answer to who it is that you're chasing, then you know where it is that you need to start looking for those people. And I gave an example in previous podcasts about another marketing consultant who has a sales background, and so because of that, they were able to help the client figure out that even though they wanted to spend a lot of money on Instagram and Facebook ads, their actual ICP, the target base, the customer base, actually hangs out on LinkedIn, and so they were better off using the money on the much more expensive LinkedIn. So in other words, you're about to start your marketing campaign. Don't say Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That is cheap. Let me throw money there. You need to find out where are your people. And if your people are on LinkedIn, then pay the expensive money and then go after them. And sometimes your people might not be online at all. For instance, John Deere, I think it's John Deere. They're an international farming, what would I call them? Farming mechanization company. I'm not sure what to call them anyway, but they make tractors pretty much and huge farming equipment. And this is an interesting test case because there are people who have tried to come up with an online strategy, but over the years I found out that their people are just not online. So most of their marketing is face-to-face or old school. They have a magazine that has been running for, I think, over 100 years. So yeah, so that's it pretty much. Trade shows, magazines, that kind of thing are not really online. And that's because they have a clear idea of who their ICP is. Now, how does sales help you figure out who your ICP is? And that's the reason why sales can help you do that is because it's part of sales practice that as you're going on, you're engaging in conversations, you're asking questions, things like that. You're actually trying to figure out where the profitable segments are because that is where you should be spending most of your time. So to make a very simple example, and this is very simple, if Abuja was divided into two segments, A and B, and you find that most of your sales come from A, then it only makes more sense that you should spend more time promoting to and calling into and visiting and trying to drum up sales from A. And that is the good thing that you get from sales practice, and that's how it informs your ICP. So if you're coming up with a marketing campaign and you don't have established salespeople on ground to look at your transaction history to say, oh, these are the people that we've done really good business with in the past because they paid us a ton load of money or they haven't been difficult to work with, then you're going to come up with marketing campaigns that are all over the place. And this is something that happens all the time. That is because sometimes marketing people, marketing consultants, advertising consultants do not liaise with salespeople. So you are a wedding photographer, you're a wedding planner. Let's say you have somebody who's been doing your marketing, or maybe you've been doing it yourself. If you guys are sitting down to talk about marketing campaigns and advertising and those sorts of things, you have to look at the intel that you can get from your sales. So if you're the one who's been doing most of the sales, look at your phone, pull up your invoices, and run through that exercise. Who have we done business with in the past? Who are the sweet clients to work with? The ones that didn't give us too much stress, the one that gave us a lot of joy, and people that paid us a ton of money. And then most importantly, who are the people that gave us a ton of money but were an absolute pain in the behind to work with? Those are the people that you want to avoid to make sure that they're not part of your ICP for your marketing campaign. And so that's the first thing. Sales will help you improve your digital marketing because it's going to help you figure out who your ideal client or who your ideal customer is. Now, another thing, digital marketing is for lead generation. The idea behind lead generation is that you put something out online or in the physical space and you want lots of people to raise their hands. You want lots of people to show that they're interested. So whether this is at a bridal show where you're giving out free samples of food like caterers like to do, or whether it's online because you're dropping something that is some sort of lead magnet, maybe wedding planners that put out a PDF saying here are 202 ideas to try out in 2022 to make your wedding the talk of the town or something like that. And then it's gated, so people have to drop their email address before they get the PDF. So yeah, those sorts of things. So digital marketing is for lead generation. You're just trying to get people to show that they are interested. But now, getting people to take the next step, that is what sales is for. Digital marketing is for lead generation. Sales is for conversion. Conversion is where you get people to take the next step to move from A to B. So you have put out that lead generation, Madam Wedding Planner. You put it out there, a PDF, 202 ways to get the most sophisticated wedding, to make your wedding the talk of the town in 2022. You put it out there. How do you get people to make the next step? You've captured the email addresses. How do you get people to make the next step? That is what sales is all about. You've gotten their details, but you need to have the skill, you need to have the know-how and the framework to be able to get people to take that next step. In fact, to even figure out what the next step is, because people put out lead generation stuff. You give free food or free cakes or free hors d'oeuvres or whatever at the bridal fair, and for the people who come to your stand to eat the food, you have no idea about what to do with them next. So basically, they just come, they just eat free food, and then you hand them flyers and then they leave. And that is not a good turnout for anybody. You've just wasted a ton load of food. And let's face it, at the bridal fair, There are about 30 or 40 other vendors there. Everybody is giving the bride and groom, what are those things called? Flyers and stuff like that. So you're just going to get lost in the sea of all those flyers and marketing material. So that's not a good use of your time and your money, your free samples. So it's people who have sales know-how and sales skills that know that, okay, if we put out these free samples for cakes and people come, this is how we start the conversation. This is how we find out who is really interested. This is how we find out who is serious. This is how we go about setting the appointment. This is what should be the agenda at the first meeting. What else? This is how we negotiate the contract. This is how we ask for the payments. Those sorts of things. The real physical nitty-gritty stuff, the ABC things. That is what sales people are good at. So lead generation, everybody puts up their hand. Everybody comes to the table. Everybody downloads the lead magnet. But it's only when you have a salesperson on hand or someone who has sales knowledge within your team who's going to be able to say, okay, now that we have these email addresses, what are we going to do with them? How are we going to start the conversation with them? Or now that these people are at the table eating our food, eating our ice cream, how are we going to get them to take the next step? How are we going to be able to separate the people who are just curious from those who are really interested? And that is a sales skill. So digital marketing is for lead generation. And because of that, it's absolutely important. But if you don't have sales skills, you're not going to be able to convert, which is to get people to take the next step. So I passed the 10-minute mark and I will try and round it up now. So in summary, digital marketing gets you tons of impressions. So you put out the free cakes and 100 people pass by your table. You put out that PDF, about 202 ways to get the stylish wedding or to be the talk of the town, or to appear on Bella Niger in 2022. You put out that thing and you get 200 people to see it and to download it. So all those things that we do on Instagram, on Twitter, on Pinterest, it gets off tons of impressions, hundreds of people. Just like me, for instance, on my my Google My Business page, getting about 400, is it 400? Let's say about 400, 500 views a month. So yeah, tons of impressions when we're looking at digital stuff. But sales skills are what are required to make a profit, because digital marketing is all about impressions. How many views, how many likes, how many shares, different ways of measuring engagements. But then when it comes to sales, the most important thing is how much of a profit did we make. So at the end of the day, I don't get off on the fact that 300 people viewed my Google My Business page, 300 to 500 people. It goes up or down. The most important thing is how much of a profit did I make at the end of the month, at the end of the year, how many people actually took that next step. And that is our preoccupation when it comes to sales. So yes, we run the digital marketing plays and there are all these impressions. But at the end of the day, for those of us who are interested in sales theory and sales discipline, the actual cocoa is, yes, 500 people saw this advert, but we're looking for the skills, the principles, the theory, and the systems that will help us to turn a profit. And that is the relationship between digital marketing and sales. And I hope I've been able to convince you guys, if you've been sitting on the edge of the fence, that yes, we need to do digital marketing, and by all means, throw your full weight behind it. But your digital marketing is going to come to naught, it's going to come to zero. Okay, maybe not zero, it's not going to come to much if there isn't someone on your team who is interested in these sorts of things surrounding sales. So, digital marketing is good. Sales theory plus digital marketing is even better. So thank you very much for listening to today's recording. I'll catch you guys at the next episode, and hopefully we'll be able to keep it to under 15 minutes. So y'all enjoy the rest of the weekend and have a productive work day Monday tomorrow. So I'll catch you at the next recording. I'm your host, Abuja Sales Consultant, Tavishima Ayede.